Today I'm going to tell you why West Virginia is on the verge of a turnaround and may be the best state to buy a home in 2024 and beyond. Welcome back to the world according to Briggs and a look at the mountain state, West Virginia. For many years, West Virginia has been considered one of the worst states the U.S. has to offer. For decades, they were one of the most undereducated states, the most impoverished, and the most addicted. If you don't know the history of opioids in West Virginia, it is sadly one of the most eye-opening things I have ever researched. On top of all those hurdles they have, the state's main source of jobs and revenue, coal mining, has been drying up over the last couple decades. With all of the challenges West Virginia has, and they have a lot of them, both past and present, West Virginia, I think, is about to turn it around. And that's what we're looking at today. 10 reasons why West Virginia is on the verge of a turnaround. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, community engagement and empowerment. Now, that's a big title. That is something West Virginia is very good at. They get the community involved, and they have all kinds of programs to get people back on their feet, to get them into school, all that good stuff. West Virginia communities have shown resilience and strong sense of community engagement. Grassroots initiatives, community-led projects, and volunteer efforts can drive positive change and improve the overall well-being of the residents. These people organize and help each other. That's what they do. They've always been that way. It's in their DNA, and a lot of it has to do with who settled West Virginia. Some of the largest ancestry groups from back in the day that settled West Virginia were Germans, Irish, and Scottish. If you listen to some of the old folk music that came out of the mountains of West Virginia, it sounds a lot like Irish and Scottish folk music. These are three groups of people that are known for their village and their tribe or clan type mentality. They live in small communities and they help each other. So I think that's one of their strong points. So any change that's going to progress the state, the people will be behind. At least most of them. I'm sure there's some angry mountain men up there that just want everything to fall apart. But for the most part, this is how West Virginia people are. They just want things to get better and they're willing to pitch in to do it. Number 9, workforce development. So in recent years, they've really put a lot of effort into workforce development. With all these coal miners and all these jobs drying up, they've had to start focusing on other things and get the populace ready for new jobs and new industries. So they have programs and initiatives to enhance the skills of the residents. This can attract new businesses and industries, as well as help existing businesses thrive by ensuring they have skilled, adaptable people working for them. As of 2021, West Virginia had over 30 community and technical colleges offering all kinds of programs for the future. Different industries like healthcare, manufacturing, and energy. Now, I found different numbers, but back in 2011, basically had in between 17 and 22 community or technical colleges. I think for a lot of years, the state and the people kind of held on to the thought that coal mining might come back. It'll always be there, but not at the levels that it once was, where they basically employed half the state. Number 8, natural resources. This is I've always found this strange that for many, many decades, they really didn't focus on their natural resources as much as they should past coal. West Virginia has an abundant amount of natural resources, forests, waterways, and they kind of had a scorched earth policy prior to, let's say, the 1990s. Now they have a lot more jobs that support outdoor recreation, protect the environment, eco-friendly industries. In 2018, the forestry sector supported 26,000 jobs in West Virginia. In 2022, it's about 35,000 jobs. And this contributes about $3.1 billion to the state's economy. As much water as they have flowing through that state. Now, I don't know, I didn't research this one, but I would think with all these good-sized rivers, they would be pulling hydroelectric everywhere. Number 7, broadband infrastructure. Now, this I think is the future for West Virginia, and there's a few reasons for this. The more access to good quality internet, any place will draw in remote workers, will draw in industries. And I think this is one of the things West Virginia realized about 5 or 7 years ago. They need to put effort into getting internet everywhere. Because think about it, if you're a remote worker, you could work anywhere. They just got to have internet. West Virginia has one of the lowest costs of living and some of the cheapest real estate in the nation. relocation. And I honestly think that is West Virginia's future, at least for the next few decades. Such cheap land, you're going to pull people in, especially the remote workers. They're not going to be taking up a job somebody else from West Virginia could do, so you don't have to really have a job for these people, and they put money into the local economy with taxes and just day-to-day living. But the state has been investing and expanding broadband infrastructure to underserved areas, improving connectivity and fostering digital inclusion, as they put it on their website. According to the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, broadband availability in West Virginia went from 69% in 2018 to 93% in 2021. So let's say you're working some digital nomad job. You're making $50,000 a year. You could buy a nice home in Morgantown, West Virginia for $320,000. That's 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,000 square foot, 3-car garage, and 1.64 acres. That's just one example. There's homes just outside of Charleston, West Virginia that are under 300,000. You'll get like 2 acres, and they're well-maintained homes. I was looking at other ones that come with like 3/4 of an acre. Decent homes, look like they're ready to move in, $150,000. If you don't think you can ever afford a house in the United States, you move to West Virginia, buy a $150,000 home, your mortgage is going to be around $800. You know what $800 gets you a month in Los Angeles? Nothing. You'll be living in your car. In West Virginia, you get a decent house with a little bit of property and beautiful scenery. Number 6, entrepreneurship and small business support. Now, I've read a couple different things on this. This has been a big focus of West Virginia, again, probably in the last 5 to 7 years. The state has been fostering an environment that is friendly to entrepreneurship and small businesses. As of 2022, the state had over 110,000 small businesses, employing nearly half the state's private work. In 2017, they had just a little over 80,000 small businesses. Number 5, tourism potential. This is a big one for West Virginia. If you like the outdoors, if you're an eco-tourist, if you like to just, you're a tourist that likes to go hiking, West Virginia is the place for you. And it's not just hiking, mountain biking, camping, fishing, hunting, and even bungee jumping. Yes, they got these amazing bridges that people bungee jump off of. I went bungee jumping on a first date one time. I told the girl I didn't want to go bungee jumping. She's all, why? And I'm like, because I might die. So you learn things about yourself when you face death. You know what I learned that day? I learned I could urinate upside down, and a date's pretty much over when you've wet yourself and cried in a parking lot for 20 minutes. My opinion, though, I think West Virginia, as long as they don't kill anyone bungee jumping, has a great future in tourism. They're starting to focus on it. They're starting to put more effort into pulling people in, and I think this is going to help turn the state around in a big way. In 2022, the state welcomed over 16 million visitors, generating over 4.8 billion visitors spending. Keep in mind, this is not a big state. $4.8 billion is a lot of money for West Virginia. Number 4, healthcare advancements. One of the big things West Virginia is focused on, healthcare. Not just, getting better healthcare for the residents, but getting jobs in the healthcare industry. One of the biggest problems West Virginia faced with healthcare is accessibility. They didn't have enough facilities, they didn't have enough doctors, nurses, whatever. And some people just, kind of didn't go to the doctor. That's a thing for a lot of backwoods communities. They don't go to the doctor, they just kind of wait things out to see what's going to happen. Hopefully it goes away and doesn't turn terminal. But one of the biggest problems was actually getting people into the doctor. But now with all the internet everywhere in the state and all this telehealth, where you could actually have a video meeting with your doctor or appointment, that's changing the healthcare landscapes of West Virginia. Now, why will this help turn the state around? Well, if your state's really lacking in healthcare, a lot of big industries really don't want to get involved in your state. That goes for just the health of the worker, the work hours lost because employees have to spend a whole day going to the doctor when it could have been a 2-hour visit in a place that had more hospitals. But the telehealth thing has really helped West Virginia. According to the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Services, telehealth visits increased by 2,600% from 2019 to 2020. Number 3, education initiatives. Like I said, they were one of the most undereducated states for a very long time. Well, they're starting to come out of that. The state has implemented various education initiatives aimed at improving the quality of education and increasing access to educational resources. This includes efforts into STEM. By the way, I mentioned STEM before, and someone thought it was stem cell research or something like that. No, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Stem cells are something totally different, but West Virginia just put a big focus on vocational training programs, and they've partnered with different universities and colleges to get people the skills they need. You have a more educated workforce, you're going to get new industries. Number 2, renewable energy. Now, this is kind of a bad thing to say in places like West Virginia or Texas. The people there have relied on fossil fuels, coal, oil, whatever, for so many years. The whole thought of getting energy from the sun or the wind or the rivers is kind of sacrilegious to these people. They don't want to hear it, and they think it's bad. They try and tell you windmills will give you brain tumors. Yeah, and mining coal will give you black lung disease. But West Virginia definitely has a significant potential for renewable energy development, particularly in the wind and solar power. Growth of clean energy industries can bring investment, job creation, and more sustainable future for West Virginia. It only makes sense. Wind power is the big one that will help West Virginia grow, but they're also installing solar panels in a lot of different areas, or solar farms as they call them. All right, before we get to number 1, we have a new channel called The Sweet Life for Briggs. There's one video up on the channel right now that explains what the future of that channel is going to be all about. There's a link for it down in the description area. Love it if you went over there and subscribed. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, economic diversification. West Virginia has been making efforts to diversify its economy beyond traditional industries like coal mining. Like I'd said earlier, for many decades, coal mining was it in West Virginia. Either you were a coal miner or you worked in an industry that supported coal mining. I've seen different stats that at one point, 75% of the state of West Virginia worked in coal mining or a supportive industry, transportation, equipment repair, things like that. Now, like I said, I'd seen stats that said 75%. I've also seen some that said about 50%. Regardless what the actual number is, most of this state was all about coal mining for many, many years. They've had to change that up. All the things I said earlier are in an effort to attract new industries such as technology, more healthcare, and the tourism I talked about earlier. The main focus of this is to generate greater job opportunities and economic growth for the populace of West Virginia. Between 2010 and 2020, West Virginia saw a 34% increase in technology-related jobs. From 2020 to 2023, they estimate they've seen a 25% increase. I'm just waiting for them to have call centers in West Virginia. Imagine that. You call a insurance call center or something like that, some kind of tech industry call center, set of overalls on, and his name's Jebediah. I actually had to call my mortgage company one time and talk to a call center person, and they had the thickest southern accent. You couldn't understand anything they were saying, but they were sweet as can be. I could be wrong, but at one point I think they were talking about possums. I was like, I'm just calling for information about my mortgage. All right, everyone. So those are the reasons I think West Virginia is about to turn it around. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.